On Wednesday, the 6th, and on Thursday, the 7th of November 2019, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, organized the second edition of the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit at the Presidential Villa, Aso Rock in Abuja. The theme of the event was leveraging diasporan resources for economic growth. In attendance were the chief host and chairman of NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa. Business mogul Mr. Pascal Dozier, CON, was the chairman of the summit. Professor Chukwuma Soludo, member Presidential Economic Advisory Committee, was the keynote speaker. Senator Ajibola Bashir, chairman Senate Committee on Diaspora and NGOs, represented the Senate President, Senator Ahmed Lawan. Honorable Tolu Lokbe Akonde Shadigbe, chairman House Committee on Diaspora. Ms. Yewande Sadiku, Executive Secretary and CEO, Nigeria Import Promotion Commission. Lady Azuka Azenge, Acting Director General, Corporate Affairs Commission. Mr. Ibrahim Mago, Acting Chairman of the EFCC. Barrister Mojisola Omijore. Prince Adebisi Adegbuyi, Postmaster General of the Federation. Ambassador Mustafa Suleiman, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa gave her opening remarks, highlighting the vision of the summit and NIDCOM as a whole, saying the summit was put together to showcase opportunities in Nigeria, to attract diaspora investment, and to underscore the strategic importance of the diaspora as a prime source of foreign direct investment. She urged all participants from home and abroad to maximize the platform.
We know the theme of this event, leveraging diaspora resources for economic growth. We've talked a lot about remittances and all that, but we believe that even the diaspora can do much more. The diaspora is willing to invest in their country, Nigeria. So as we move on, sir, ladies and gentlemen, we believe that we'll continue to attract diasporans to invest in their country, Nigeria. There's no better place to invest than Nigeria, despite whatever challenges we have. And we have Nigerians developing the world economies. We should encourage them to develop the Nigerian economy, and that is exactly what we are doing. Very soon, we hope that FEC will ratify the Nigeria diaspora policy. We have a diaspora professional healthcare initiative in which doctors in the diaspora from America, from the UK, from Canada, from Africa are coming together. We hope to launch that sometime in January, where they will be contributing in a very serious way to healthcare reforms in Nigeria through training, giving back. It's going to be more volunteerism, and it's going to be a very, very good project that will affect positively Medicare in Nigeria.
Mr. Pascal Dozier, the chairman of the summit, hailed the vision of the commission, saying developed countries like China, India, and Singapore have followed the same plan in developing their homeland. He called on Nigerians to plug into the plan to make Nigeria better.
I believe most countries realize the relevance of the diaspora community in terms of their contribution to the economic development of their home country. We have taken the first steps in the right direction by setting up the Commission. However, we need to move from the euphoria of diaspora monetary inflows and challenge ourselves to fully understand the structure of the Nigerian diaspora, what they can effectively contribute, and how we can utilize these contributions for development. South Korea, the diaspora returnees started the South Korea shipping industry. Economic and technology boom followed. The diaspora in Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, they all started and initiated, they were catalysts in their economic boom, and so forth and so on. While it is important to gauge the Nigerian diaspora to provide the much needed human and financial capital, we need to first put into context the size of the Nigerian diaspora, its quality, and the capacity it relates to skill, as it relates to skill, and the extent of their access. That is important. Access to resources, access to entrepreneurship, access to the political socio-economic political powers in the countries.
Acting EFCC Chairman Mr. Ibrahim Magu said the EFCC is in partnership with its sister organizations across the world to sanitize the money transfer platforms so as to eliminate fraud and encourage more diasporans to remit more to the homeland. He appealed to all Nigerians to join in the fight against corruption, saying the EFCC cannot do it alone. He called on diasporans to give useful and authentic information on Nigerians who, from proceeds of crime and corruption, repatriate funds abroad, saying the EFCC will act on it.
We are working with the CBN, with other stakeholders, to see how Nigerians in diaspora can be protected. Because you sit down there and send some money, and it's become very difficult. Your relations, your whatever, you send them money, and then the bankers will tell them, come tomorrow, come next tomorrow. At the end of the day, if you send them 200, 2,500, they will end up getting 1,000, 1,005. But we are working, we are seriously working around the clock to bring some sanity into this Western Union money transfer and other money transfers that you use deliberately by some bankers to defraud the beneficiaries. So we clear the ground so that you can, it's easy for you to send your money to your relations here. They can access the money, and everybody has a mandate, has a divine mandate in the fight against corruption. Nobody has the monopoly of knowledge. Nobody can do it alone. We must all put our hands together in the fight against corruption. This is the time to fight corruption, because we have the appropriate political goodwill. I think we are old. There is no person who is less than 25 years here, 25 years old. So you know, for the purpose of comparison, this is the time you have to contribute your quota in the fight against corruption, because corruption affects everybody. It's just like rain. When the rain starts, it will beat everybody. So, and it's beating everybody, directly or indirectly. So please, I want to appeal to you to join us in the fight against corruption, whether you are in Nigeria, anywhere you find yourself, and we are also doing everything possible.
In a brief remark, Barrister Mojisola Omishore, who represented the SDF, congratulated NIDCOM under the able leadership of Honorable Abike Dabire-Rewa and the private sector, as well as Nigerians in diaspora, for a great event. She expressed confidence that Nigerians in diaspora will maximize the opportunities of the event and invest in the country.
I am of the belief that this summit will indeed harness the untapped and abundant resources of Nigerians in the diaspora, thereby attracting investments and investors into the vastly untapped and diverse Nigerian economy. I am optimistic that both local and foreign investors will cash in to the opportunities and portfolios inherent in this laudable summit, which provides a platform especially for Nigerians in diaspora to invest in the economy, in the economic development of the country. Prior to this administration, it was very clear to all that our country was gradually losing its position as the giant of Africa due to the negative portrayal of the country by some unscrupulous Nigerians in diaspora.
The Chairman, House of Representatives Committee in Diaspora, Honorable Tolulokpe Akonde Shadikpe, praised Honorable Abike Dabire-Rewa for her consistency in fighting for the good of Nigerians in diaspora since her days as a member of the House of Representatives. She said, as chairperson of the committee in the House of Representatives, Honorable Abike Dabire-Rewa has her full support in terms of bills and policy formulation to ensure the success of NIDCOM.
Let us all join hands to change the narrative. You know the other narrative? The narrative that the EFCC boss mentioned? That is not who Nigeria is. That is not who Nigerians are. Nigerians are those people who are adding value to those nations abroad. Nigerians are those people abroad who we Nigerians at home can leverage on to achieve a lot for our nation as well, because they have a lot to offer. That Nigerian in diaspora could be you, me, our children, our cousins, our family members, and all it is that they are Nigerians, but they are not living in Nigeria, which means that first and foremost, they are what? They are Nigerians. As John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. We have a lot of challenges ahead, but if we have that mindset in mind, Nigerians in diaspora and Nigerians at home can partner for the progress of our country, Nigeria. We can partner for the public good of our nation, Nigeria.
In his remarks, Senator Ajibola Bashir, Chairman, Senate Committee on Diaspora and NGOs, also pledged the support of the 9th National Assembly to not just formulate bills and policies to help NIDCOM succeed, but to also provide adequate oversight. He encouraged diasporans to emulate the Chinese, Indians, Pakistanis, Ghanaians, Malaysians and Israelis by massively investing back in their homeland.
In terms of fast-tracking our economic growth and development, we have a population that is ever expanding in the context of limited economic productivity. So there's a need for us to go back to the path of productivity to ensure that our people are not left behind in the struggle of opportunities in the globalized world. So I will say that I commend the team of the summit, and we believe that whatever comes out of this summit will be supported at the National Assembly level with necessary legislation, necessary support in ensuring that we have a Nigeria that its immense resources in the diaspora is used. But of course, embedded in the team is how do we even identify what are these resources? I take the hint from the speech of the chairman that we should not just be talking about remittances. There are more fundamental resources that can come to us from the diaspora. One, in terms of know-how, in terms of human capacity, in terms of necessary connection, and also in terms of experience that can assist us to leapfrog our development beyond having to learn the rope. What had been experienced in other countries could be of immense resource to us. So I will charge the Diaspora Commission to develop with necessary partner a database of even the kind of resource that we have in the diaspora, and those resources, how they can be interlinked with the quest for economic growth and development of our people. It should not just be a matter of remittances, it should be a matter of substantial contribution to productive activity.
In the keynote address, the keynote speaker, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, said developing Nigeria is in the enlightened self-interest of the diasporans, as no matter how well they do abroad, they will still be second-class citizens. He said diasporans should stop asking those residents in Nigeria to fix the country, positing that it is a joint task. He said, apart from investments, Nigeria has a mix of human resources abroad who need to come home and help develop the country. He urged NIDCOM to partner with relevant stakeholders like NIPC, NEPC, CAC, and even state governments who own the lands to help bring in more investors from the diaspora.
But today we have a larger conceptualization of the diaspora. It's related now, it connotes the existence on the foreign land of an expatriate community that considers its presence to be transitory. In the meantime, it develops a set of institutions, social patterns, and ethno-national and/or religious symbols that hold it together. These include language, religion, values, social norms, and narratives of the homeland. Gradually, this community adjusts to the environment of the homeland, while still nursing the idea of a return to the homeland or maintain active interactions or network with the homeland. there are key features of this new conceptualization of the diaspora beyond people who are either driven from their homeland or scattered around, going back to the Jewish experience, as it were. We now think of anyone who lives outside of the homeland and who still, very important characteristic, nurtures the hope or the expectation of someday returning to the homeland or having something to do with the homeland.
The latest thing happening in the world now is that you must protect your integrity and protect your country. It's very touching that, and I want to say it here with welfare of favor, 66% of crime committed outside this country are not Nigerians. Well, it's because they have our passports and they use it, and they give us a very bad name. I think the time has come that we must protect each other, and we must make sure we see our country as the best hope we all have. Ladies and gentlemen, we have over 3.5 million people that play golf in Nigeria, and we all go abroad to buy everything. But thank God today, I've changed the focus. We now use tie and dye and material to play golf in Nigeria. These are some of the very few things. I saw a lot of our people abroad, the way they portray the image of this country. Please, I'd like to beg all of us tonight, there's only one strategy to sell the world. It's called the SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, and threats.
More congratulate my sister, Honorable Abike Dabiri, for her imaginative approach to this assignment that has been given to her and positioning the diaspora and linking it with home. If we take a census of Nigerians that are living in other places and pursuing useful vocations and occupations and given the market knowledge that we can mobilize to support our economic progress, I believe much, much more can be achieved rapidly. Furthermore, in the last 5 years, the President and his able Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, have been working very hard to reposition Nigeria. Just recently, there is a report which shows that Nigeria has moved 15 places up in the competitiveness index. And with these positive steps, with the measures taken to strengthen the economy, to create opportunities, I think a platform has been created for the Nigerian diaspora community to do much, much better.
I think that we, Nigerians in diaspora, can also access some of these products of these U.S. agencies, especially, of course, for those who live in the U.S. The way it works generally is that credit guarantee allows U.S. aid to partner banks to mobilize locally held assets and savings. Then the DCA guarantees 50% of losses in cases of default. So these two agencies sort of work together. As I said, they're both U.S. agencies, not only to guarantee losses, but also to even guarantee a specific value of those losses. So now it's entirely possible to work with both local and international agencies to seek ways of de-risking diaspora investments, to encourage more investments, more interest in local investment opportunities. I'm glad to see that our sponsor today, United Capital, is one that is in the forefront of these kinds of initiatives. I also saw, I think it's called Simplify, I think it's called, who are also doing something quite innovative in this respect. So we may look, for example, at ways by which the Nigeria incentive-based risk-sharing system.
The closing remarks were made by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Mustafa Suleiman, who urged NIDCOM to take the advice of the keynote speaker and run with it. The event ended with the vote of thanks said by Honorable Abike Dabirerewa. Biscom Communications congratulates NIDCOM on the successful hosting of the second edition of the Nigeria Diaspora Investment Summit.